So maybe we'll see him try and land a first surprise much earlier. Here we go, handshake, e4, e5, and actually a Sicilian on the other board. That's nice to see. I was going to say Jacopo cannot play e5 again, just judging on the classical game where Sindarov forced to draw very early on. So we have the Sicilian Najdorf on one board and the Italian on the other. It's going to be lots of tension.
Sorry, but I couldn't resist pointing out the advantage for white on the bar. See, after h3, immediately, I don't know what is it, 0.5 already? Wow! We can't say the solid Sindarov arrived, playing g4.
Definitely not solid. Should we check in with the details of that opening and why black is going knight f to d7? I think it's quite an...
To play with knight c3 or keeping the knight on b1 with some very quick bishop e3 ideas. Wei's approach is more classical, but since Esipenko played fifth move h6, yeah, this is not exactly the absolute main line. It invites white to play b4, and this is what Wei did.
Yeah, Wei is a big master of all these bishop g5 lines in all types of situations. He's won many nice games here. So Andrey is saying, no thank you, I don't want this. But what worries me from Andrey's perspective, he didn't prepare e5 for the classical game, obviously, because he played the French there. So he might not be into so many Wei details. Of course, he's a specialist on the Italian, but this might be done sort of hastily.
But if you look at the clock situation, he seems to have blitzed out all these moves. He's playing the most classical way, trying to avoid any kind of complications with this h6, rook e8, bishop e6 setup.
This is also the plan. Magnus Carlsen, and many people love, if they're not Vincent, Vincent of course will go for these double pawns whenever it is barely legal. But most classical guys, they like rook e8, bishop e6, you can take with the rook, keeping more stability.
Yes, I'm also this classical guy with h6, rook e8, bishop e6.
Vincent stuff must drive you crazy.
To play his own way.
Yeah.
I have given up already on trying to change, and I never intended to change, because I know also the dangers of trying to be always very solid and always classical. Then the chances of making tons of draws is there.
Okay, you can play fe6 once, but every game it's not like you're winning there. Anyway, shout out to world number 4, Vincent Keimer. And rook a8 played.
Yeah, rook a8.
Yeah, this is super solid, but he is also very much into all these small subtleties in these positions. How do you play?
Okay, how do you play with white? With black we're gonna play knight e7, knight g7.
Yeah, I mean with white. Like,
with white, yeah. This is a question, because okay, normally a move like h3 is useful, but here white to play it, he played knight e3.
Muy cemento. played.
Yeah, rook take GC, there will be this knight f5 tempo. That knight will be very nice, hitting the rook. And the g pawn is not so dangerous because this knight on f5 covers the gc square. But there are two pawns.
Yes.
So maybe the long term will be the problem. Yeah, there is nothing short term, but still, if normally you are two pawns down, it means that you are lost. But this is not the lost kind of position. I have the feeling that white can fight and can hope for a miracle. There are chances here to survive. It's no connected pawns, and whenever that king from c6 moves, then the c7 pawn will be vulnerable. It's not easy.
I don't know, I'm more pessimistic for Wei's chances here. 3 seconds.
That's not good, yes,
will
3
come.
seconds.
We've talked about this. I've seen him do this a million times. It's never that worrying, but also having to defend.
Also the big question, maybe black can activate the rook. Who knows, but he sidesteps with the
What
king.
do? King b6, stepping out of any checks.
Yeah, very unpleasant to defend this with white. How do you defend? Knight e3
with 1 second once again.
Wow, setting up knight d5 check. Wow, wait a second. Andrey stepped into knight e3. Knight d5 check.
Is he blundered one of his pawns?
So he has to... He blundered his rook. Unbelievable.
Oh,
He blundered
that
the
is
rook.
the finals. He hung his rook in a better position.
This is crazy.
Oh my god.
Absolutely crazy. Total heartbreak.
What a moment for Esipenko.
The nerves.
Wow.
Oh my god, yeah, because he stepped into this knight, he was in total panic that, oh my god, I blundered knight d5 check, and white will save a draw, and then he blunders the rook instead.
This is incredible. And Wei won't be able to believe what happened. No, a second ago he's almost out, 2 pawns down, and then Esipenko hangs the rook.